Afternoon, guys. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, appreciate it. Channel's has grown another 50%, so thanks for everybody who's participating. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to make this super quick, like it'll be less than a 5-minute video today. I just saw the most horrendous advice I've ever seen in my life today. Like, it's actually not the worst. Like, I suppose the worst could be someone, you know, hey, does my panel work? I don't know, test it by sticking the 2 terminals in your tongue. That'd be some pretty bad advice. But I just saw this, like, this dude in the DIY forum is asked a really basic question, right? What size controller do I need if I had 2 400-watt panels? You're like, oh, that's fairly simple. And old matey has just jacked out. I saw one of them is like, hey man, you know, what's really important, and very good advice, what's the VOC, right? You need the VOC and you need the current. Anyway, someone's just responded to that. It's like, no, you don't. What you do is you take this and he arbitrarily divided it by voltage, man. It's like, no, dude, no, that's dangerous, man. The first question is, like, if the guy doesn't know the VOC, okay, where'd you source your panels, right? If you source your panels from a house, you're going to have high voltages. Like 30.9 and 38.1. 38.1, when this thing's doing nothing, it'll float at that, right? As soon as you start to draw it, it's going to come down, and the most ideal number is 30. If, hypothetically, you connected an 18-volt panel directly to the battery, for example, the voltage of the panel would come down and match the battery until the battery was full, and then the battery blocks charge. You'd be lucky not to damage the BMS. I'm sure some BMSs would take it, but generally speaking, not a good idea. But also, not how you spec out your fucking MPPT. That is horrendous advice. I've talked about this before. The voltage open circuit is a non-negotiable limit on your charge controllers. You don't just take the wattage and go, well, it's going to be a 12-volt battery or a 28-volt battery and divide it. Yeah, okay, that will give you your potential throughput from the panel in maximum light to the battery. Great. That is not how you size your charge controller. Your charge controller is sized by many, many different things. And one of the big ones, and it's written right on the front of these things. This is dead set the blue idiot free way of fucking buying MPPTs, because this is the hard limit for the PV input, right? Hard limit. That's 100 amps out. You can provision more than like if you were to use his calculation, say, well, what's going to end up being 100 amps at 48 volts? Well, it's 5800, right? Well, in this case, it's 58 volt charge, so 5800 watts. Now I can put 6.5 on here, so the current is and the yield is actually a variable limit, because I can provision more than what this thing can throughput, and if I keep this cool enough, it'll actually throughput more. This, hard limit, non-negotiable, hard limit, fucking hard limit, end of story. Like, it's not, that blows me away, man. That is dangerous. Somebody's going to go down the shops, they're going to get themselves a little PWM charger and plug in 2, not 1, 2 400-watt panels, because oh yeah, well, you know, it says it's 30 amp, but then they thump fucking 40, you know, on a cool day, 38 volts, close to 40 volts. If he series them, it's worse, but close to 80 volts. They thump 80 volts into a charge controller that can't deal with it. Man, you're asking to burn things. Like, things are gonna smoke at that point. If it's like automotive grade charge controllers, that's a terrible idea. The most important piece of information when somebody says, hey man, I want to plug these 2 400-watt panels in. Okay, cool. What size are the panels, and what battery are you charging? Right? Yeah, the third question is, what's your budget, bro? Like, maybe this is not going to be possible because it's outside your budget, but you do not just divide the wattage by the target battery voltage. That is horrendous. That is a silly thing to do. That is an indicative number that you can get for potential output, which you'll never achieve, right? Unless you're in sub-zero circumstances with perfect sunlight. You've got no line loss. You've got a charge controller that's, you know, 100% efficiency, which doesn't happen. Like, you might yield more out of your panels, but the switching MOSFETs and whatnot are all going to have some voltage drop across them. So, yeah, like, what a silly thing to say, man. And I seriously hope that guy does not take that advice. And like, there's a safety concern there. What if it works for a week and then inside the MOSFETs are getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and it burns down someone's vehicle, or worse, someone's house? It blows me away, man. Anyway, I just fucking wanted to get on and just quickly respond to that. I'm going to post this video back directly to the guy. I've anonymized their names, and if you're in the DIY forum, you're going to see me respond. Like I don't want to fucking bash the dude for trying to be helpful, but shit, bro, like really think it through, man. What's the safety repercussions of giving this advice to someone? That poor guy I assume he's asking in a DIY forum. He's picked up 400 watts, probably house panels. He's probably trying to do it on a budget, right? He probably doesn't have the money to make that mistake in the first place. So, God, what? Oh, nearly had a heart attack. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll catch you guys in the next one. So my mates and I have been talking about what we're going to do next. We're getting into winter. I could install a southern facing solar array to try and catch the afternoon sun. You can see she's coming through now. But what I've decided to do instead is the 2 arrays that are up here. So there's 6 panels and 6 panels, and they roll into one of these. I think it's that inverter one, that one in the center. We're going to replace them. I'm going to count the panels up, and if we've got enough panels, we are going to replace both those strings because one of those strings has failed. So I would plan to do that in 4 days time, but I'll probably post the video Sunday. But I am going to try and get back to like posting regular videos on a regular basis. But anyway, look guys, if you've got more questions, or what I really should do is start a social media page, and that way if someone asks one of these questions, I can post back as the channel. That's probably a good idea. All right guys, I'll catch you in the next one.